Hey everyone, Somi here from InPeak with an episode of our daily minicast series. Every weekday, we bring you an angel investor, a family office, or VC who shares their investment thesis so that you know what they're looking for. Today, we are featuring Simon Drake from Space Ventures. They're a pre-seed and seed investor from Frankfurt who primarily focus on space tech.
To reach for something that is bravely ahead of the curve, yet dangerous to touch. That way, you have to be innovative to understand it and handle it. But also, your competition will be far behind you. Common trait I look for in founders is the ability to adapt to success as well as failure. The reason this is important is because when you're in the midst of both success or failure or failing, you quite often don't understand where you're at. It's not until something's been successful or something's failed do you realize, oh, that was that. So what I look for in founders is the ability to understand where they're at, knowing that if embarking on any venture, you're essentially dealing with chaos every day. Deal breaker for me when evaluating a startup is to look for a valuation based on too many assumptions and wishful thinking. And this is a major problem, and it actually, from my experience, it was always a problem. Going back thousands of years, think of trade across the Mediterranean, these bottles of wine, they're wonderful. No, they're not. Everything has a value. These days, the ability for people to understand the valuation metrics is easy to pick up from YouTube videos and friends and pitch decks. But at the end of the day, evaluation must be tangible. So for me, there's many more ways to fake evaluation, and trust me, I've seen it all. So I'm looking for ways to see, is this valuation make sense? And if it doesn't make sense, what's really going on? One piece of advice I give to founders is to keep their house in order. And this basically means treat your emerging company as your house, and everything starts and stops with you. And this is the reality for founders, which is not really talked about, is you have the ultimate responsibility from start to finish, including all the good times and the bad times. So you have to just be ready for it. It's actually quite a fair bit of responsibility that I don't think is talked enough about. A startup's exit strategy is important as from an investor point of view, where you do think, well, how does this end? Yet as a investor and also a founder of multiple startups where we haven't had the end, I find it incredibly frustrating to say, oh, well, we have an idea and the end point is this. I mean, the end point's really obvious. It's got to make money, it's got to make jobs, it's got to expand, and investors, do need an exit. So it's on the radar, but when you go through the process of building a business, the exit might turn into something different. For founders to follow up after a pitch is patience, because quite often I receive quite a few pitches a week. We only have limited capital and time to allocate. There's a lot of ideas floating around, and a lot of founders, and I've been in the same position myself, you're pitching a project that maybe you're pitching too early, but you've got to pitch it at that stage in order to reshape it and move on. So why I say patience is it's the patience to say, if this is such a good idea, then you can re-pitch it in 3 months and revisit it. I think if someone pitches me something, I don't hear of them again, it's like, well, that was a one-hit wonder at best. And also the ability to have patience helps build the relationship.
I hope you enjoyed today's minicast episode featuring Simon Drake from Space Ventures. Join us at InPeak.xyz, where we have daily live webinars, masterclasses, panels, and networking opportunities for founders, investors, and service partners. I also have a weekly long-form podcast where I invite some of the most amazing industry leaders that you don't want to miss. Download the Somi Aryan podcast wherever you get your podcast, or subscribe to my YouTube channel at Somi Aryan.